What are my best tips for preventing overeating? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Walk With Me. This is Josh here, and today we're talking about different ways and strategies to prevent overeating and going off plan on your diet. These are going to be my top 5 tips that you can implement today. Now, this one is still very much a work in progress for me. I know myself and a lot of us tend to settle down and eat our meals in front of the TV or while we're doing other things like working or talking, just basically eating when we're distracted. And when you eat this way, when you eat when you're not conscious and present with your meal, it's easy to eat an extra few hundred calories without even really realizing it, and even more importantly, without even really enjoying it. So next time you sit down to eat, try and focus on the food in front of you and nothing else. Getting that thought and that presence in your head, paying attention to what you eat, is going to have a bigger long-term impact on making sure you're not just mindlessly eating. Are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because you're bored? Idle hands and an idle mind lead to a lot of unnecessary eating, a lot of unnecessary attention on feeling hungry or wanting food, or just the willpower stress that you go through while you're dieting. So before you pick up that extra meal or extra snack, really take a few seconds and think to yourself, am I really hungry, or do I just want food because it sounds good? I learned this years ago, I forgot where, but a really great way to test this, if you're craving some specific food, think about something the opposite. I'll use broccoli as an example. People usually don't crave broccoli all the time. Just think to yourself, would a big old plate of broccoli sound just as good right now? That's a good way to decipher between cravings and actual hunger as well. All right, and tip number 3, plan out your meals in advance and proportion and track your day before you start it. This is something I really like to utilize on my really busy days or my really long working days. When the decision and willpower fatigue sets in, this is a really good way to kind of just take yourself out of the equation and trust in the macros and trust in the daily calories. All right, and tip number 4, test out an intermittent fasting protocol if you haven't already. Intermittent fasting has played a huge part for me in managing my overall hunger levels and just making it a little bit easier to stay on track with the goals that I set for every day. And if you're not familiar with intermittent fasting already, it's essentially just condensing down your eating window into a smaller time frame. For me, I'll usually eat all of my meals between about noon and 8 p.m. It sounds a lot fancier than it is. A lot of times just something like skipping breakfast, can be a really great way to allocate some extra calories to your other meals throughout the day and kind of just make you feel a little bit more full and prevent eating extra later in the day. All right, and tip number 5, another pretty obvious one, but a really good tool: eat lower calorie foods. If you eat foods that aren't as calorically dense, you're able to eat a lot bigger portions without going over on your calorie goals. And calories is really the name of the game when it comes to weight loss. The easiest way to implement something like this, just incorporate more vegetables into your diet. Vegetables are practically free food volume with next to no calories. That is going to be it for me this week. We had a few weeks of super heavy topics. I thought it'd be fun to kind of bring it back to basics with some good practical advice for you guys. And I know there are so many more great tips that are out there. I'd love for you to share your favorite tip down below. How do you prevent overeating? What's your best strategy or tip or tool that you'd recommend for everyone else? And make sure to like the video if you enjoyed this. It really helps me out a ton, helps the channel grow. And subscribe if you're not already. I put these out every Monday. Put vlogs and reviews and nature videos and all sorts of other stuff out on Fridays. But until next time, I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.